Today we will talk about XLM, Velo, and some XRP, and all of their interconnections into PayFi, which could be 20 times larger compared to DeFi. Stellar has been talking about PayFi pretty extensively, specifically calling out their integrations with Huma Finance, who has coincidentally been working with PayPal and their own stablecoin, which once again ties into the PayPal mafia connecting Stellar, Ripple, and Velo. I have also been talking about Stellar's involvement with Paxos, who has just received approval on its own stablecoin from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. And whenever I see that called out, I am reminded of the deep ties Stellar has into the MAS. PayFi is essentially all about using stablecoins to generate a yield. Here is Paxos talking about just that at the Stellar Meridian 2024 conference.
Democratize access to dollars. The second thing is they can actually democratize access to risk-free yield. And USDL does both of those things. So USDL is a regulated stablecoin. We issued it out of Abu Dhabi. It's fully regulated by the Financial Services Regulatory Authority, the FSRA. It's regulated just like our other stablecoins, which means if anything happens to Paxos, your money there is safe. Bankruptcy protected. But it pays interest in. So it pays the risk-free rate. I think it's about 4.7% or something today to anybody who holds it every single day. So every day you get interest. Your value in your account goes up just from holding. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, you move it. And I think what's really important about it is a financial system kind of needs two things. One is a store of value that you rely to use, your account, but also you need a way to be able to generate yield. And you need to have a risk-free yield. And that is basically in the world's financial system, that's dollars, and that's the interest rate on T-bills. And with USDL, that stands for US dollar, by the way, you have the ability to get the risk-free rate wherever you are, not just all dollars, but now you can generate return.
Etherfuse has also been talking a lot about Stellar integration and are working to tokenize these kinds of real-world assets on Solana and on Stellar, which is an interesting coincidence because Velo and their gold tokenization project combine Solana and Stellar as well. They are specifically talking about tokenization of bonds, boosting DeFi and even PayFi capabilities. They have just announced that you are able to purchase these kinds of assets directly in your Lobster wallet as well. OpenEden is a company concentrating on the tokenization of bonds as well. U.S. Treasury bonds held by non-Americans are worth $8 trillion, which is currently about 2.5 times the market cap of all crypto. I'm not exactly sure where that 4x came from. Velo has just recently been talking about PayFi too. And coincidentally enough, they are calling out how it is powered by Solana. But before we get into Velo and PayFi specifically, I want to talk on what PayFi exactly is and how it works. Huma Finance has been working with Stellar a lot. And coincidentally again, they are also integrated with Solana. There are 6 foundational layers of the PayFi stack, which include financing, compliance, custody, currency, transaction, and the application layer. The transaction layer is extremely important because this is where you are actually performing all of that tokenization and allowing the yield generated assets to be translated on chain. Here are some short explanations of the PayFi stack.
When I was thinking about, I need to build a stack, the first thing come to my mind was the OSI model. This is more expanded version of the TCP/IP, and it played a substantial role to be the foundation for a series of innovations in the last 40 years. And turned out all those innovations defined everything that we do, from browsing the network and for interacting with the mobile app, everything. And that is when you have a model defines the internet of data, that's how the data is governed. Now with crypto, we are welcome to the internet of money. Now that you have the internet of money, you need to have an open model to define it so that everybody has a reference. How do I build the next generation innovations? And we are hoping this model will define our financial activities in the future. I'm going to present this PayFi stack. So the stack itself has 6 layers. And from the bottom, from transaction layer, which is more like layer 2, layer 1, and then the currency layer, custody layer, to the compliance layer. Those more like infrastructure, underlying infrastructure. You could say they support all the other applications as well, but because payments have some special needs and some of those work in a different way, then we have the finance layer plus the application layer on top of it. We build everything that I talk about from the finance layer, and the goal is to enable all kinds of applications, particularly around all the payments stuff.
PayFi can be explained as the creation of new financial markets around the time value of money. There's about 30 trillion out there in terms of different kinds of financial industries and applications that can be tokenized on chain. PayFi introduces new use cases such as instant real-world asset settlement and deep-in financing, which enables exchanging the cost of creating infrastructure with future value. Traditional payments rely on institutions and processors that slow transactions and increase costs. Web3 can offer a decentralized approach. And as we began to see in 2024, a lot of that revolves around stablecoins. PayFi can help overcome challenges around scalability and liquidity because it can create a liquid and efficient payment infrastructure. With PayFi, companies have the option to receive payments on the same day or on the next day compared to the current typical 3 to 5 days right now. The integration of real-world assets is the key thing here. They can include assets such as tokenized real estate, treasury bonds, and even art. By tokenizing these kinds of assets, they become tradable and transferable. Huma Finance takes tokenized real-world assets by unlocking instant liquidity for financial institutions and financing practically instant cross-border payments. Here we are coming back to the importance of OpenEden. They have been involved with Ripple for almost a year now. They are also integrated with Velo as well, tokenizing treasury bonds as reserve collateral for their USDV stablecoin. Stellar has already had a lot of success in the tokenization of bonds related to their work with Franklin Templeton, who chose Stellar to tokenize their on-chain US government money fund.
So what are the benefits that you see for?
Well, I mean, of course, at the time we were, trying to figure out which platform to use, and I think we ended up with Stellar because of really the capabilities that you guys have that were so important for the regulatory environment, right? I mean, so this concept of being able to, claw back a transaction, right? That's important. We're required to do that. If there's something that happens, you got to be able to fix some of those things, and have this control environment in which we're responsible for. And the Stellar chain allowed us to do some of those things. And then also, you guys Stellar's amazing with how cheap your gas fees are. I mean, yeah. There's nobody else that comes near that, and that's important to us and important to our clients. So it's really been I think a terrific journey together.
And I talked about Ripple and Velo's involvement with OpenEden because Velo has been publicly stating that they want to become the Ripple of Asia. And they have been tweeting about Ripple recently too, seemingly out of nowhere. They have also specifically been talking about XRP with another one here. PayFi is expected to be worth 1.8 trillion by 2030, which I personally think is extremely low. Stablecoins are processing about 2 trillion per year, and digital payments are expected to hit 14 trillion by 2027. Velo has actually published a white paper specifically on the tokenization of real-world assets in PayFi. And with their Orbit app and all of the infrastructure in it, combined with the loyalty points, that right there sounds a lot like how credit cards work right now. They are generating a yield on interest and are able to quote-unquote pay you back a bit in terms of those points. Users can exchange tokenized loyalty points on a DEX or use them within the Velo ecosystem for trading and staking. Velo's PayFi approach turns these loyalty points into a universal key. You can convert these points into cash, crypto, or even stake them because they are considered tradable assets on that DEX.